The boy waited until the hallway went quiet. Not peaceful quiet. The kind that hums. The kind that means people are asleep or pretending to be. The clock on the microwave blinked 12:17 a.m. Eli Parker sat on the floor of his bedroom with his back against the wall, knees pulled to his chest, a backpack pressed tight against his ribs like a shield. Inside were his school books, a cracked tablet that barely worked, and a folded paper with a phone number written in blue ink. He hadn't planned to use it tonight. He wasn't even sure it was real. Eli was 9 years old, small for his age. Thin arms, sharp elbows, the kind of kid teachers forgot to call on, because he never raised his hand anyway. The apartment smelled like old grease and damp carpet. Somewhere in the living room, the TV murmured to itself. A man's voice, loud laughter that didn't sound happy. Eli flinched when something thudded against the wall. Not the first time. He pressed his ear closer to the door, holding his breath the way he taught himself to do. If he could hear them, they could hear him. The woman's voice came next. His mother, soft, tired, saying the same thing she always said. Please, please don't. Eli squeezed his eyes shut. He counted in his head. 1, 2, 3. Counting helped when things felt too big. His school counselor had taught him that last year, back when she still worked there. She'd been fired after she complained too much. The voices rose. A sharp sound followed. Something breaking. Eli's heart hammered, so hard it made his ears ring. He reached into his backpack and pulled out the tablet. The screen lit up dim and blue. Only 20% battery. No Wi-Fi. Just the old messaging app that still worked if there was signal. He opened the folded paper. The number stared back at him. He didn't know whose number it was. Only that it had been written by a man in a gray coat who had come to school once, months ago, after a boy in Eli's class fainted during lunch. The man hadn't smiled much, but he'd knelt down to Eli's height when they spoke. If you ever don't feel safe, the man had said, you can use this. Eli hadn't believed him then. People always said things like that. Grown-up words that floated away when you actually needed them. Another crash. Eli's fingers shook as he typed the number in. He stared at the empty message box for a long time. What do you even say? He wiped his nose on his sleeve and typed the first thing that came into his head. My mom is bleeding. He didn't press send right away. The sound of footsteps moved closer to his door. Heavy, angry. Eli's chest tightened. He hit send. The message whooshed away. Nothing happened. The footsteps stopped. Eli slid down until his head rested against the wall. His breathing came fast and shallow. He pressed his palm against his chest like he could hold his heart still. Maybe the number didn't work. Maybe it was fake. Maybe no one answered messages from kids in the middle of the night. The TV volume went up suddenly. Laughter again. Too loud, like someone was trying to drown something out. Eli typed another message before he lost a nerve. Please help us. Send. He waited. 5 seconds. 10. The tablet screen dimmed. Eli tapped it to keep it awake. Across the city, 40 floors above the street, a man stood alone in a dark office. Nathaniel Cross had built half the skyline outside his window. Glass towers, hotels, data centers, private schools with his name carved into stone. His face appeared in magazines next to words like disciplined and visionary and untouchable. At 52, Nathaniel Cross was worth more money than most countries' budgets, and he had never felt smaller. His office lights were off. Only the city glowed. His phone lay face down on the desk beside a glass of untouched water. It vibrated once. Nathaniel ignored it. It vibrated again. He frowned, picked it up, saw an unknown number, and almost put back down. Then he read the message. My mom is bleeding. His jaw tightened. Another message appeared beneath it. Please help us. Nathaniel stared at the screen longer than he meant to. He hadn't given that number out in years. He turned away from the window and typed with careful fingers. Who is this? The reply came almost instantly. My name is Eli. I'm 9. Nathaniel felt something shift in his chest. Not pain, not fear, recognition. Are you safe right now? There was a pause. Then, I'm in my room. I locked the door. Nathaniel exhaled slowly. Good. Stay there. Eli's tablet buzzed in his hands. He stared at the words like they might disappear. Someone answered. Someone real. He typed back fast. He heard her. She's on the floor. Nathaniel closed his eyes for half a second. Where are you? Eli hesitated. He didn't know his address. He'd never had to know it. He typed what he could. Above the laundromat. Blue sign. Near the bus yard. Nathaniel was already dialing another number. He didn't raise his voice. Didn't explain. Just spoke with quiet authority. I need a location traced. Now. He hung up and typed again. You did the right thing, Eli. Eli's throat burned. I'm scared. I know. 2 words. Calm. Steady. Eli pressed the tablet to his chest. Footsteps moved outside his door again. Slower this time. Closer. His fingers flew across the screen. He's coming. The response was immediate. Stay where you are. Don't open the door. Eli squeezed his eyes shut and nodded, even though no one could see him. In the living room, his mother made a small sound. Not words, just pain. Eli bit down on his sleeve to keep from crying. The tablet buzzed again. I'm on my way. Eli read the words again and again. On my way from where? How long was that? His door handle rattled. Harder this time. Eli's heart pounded so loud he was sure it would give him away. He typed one last message with shaking hands. Please don't be too late. Nathaniel stared at the message as the elevator doors slid shut around him. He typed back as the car began its descent. I won't be. And for the first time in a very long while, Nathaniel Cross meant it with his entire life. The elevator ride felt longer than it should have. Nathaniel Cross stood still as the numbers slid downward. No music, no mirrors, just soft mechanical hum and the faint vibration under his shoes. His phone stayed warm in his hand. He hadn't put on his jacket. He hadn't called his assistant. He hadn't told security where he was going. For once, none of that mattered. The doors opened to the underground garage. His driver looked up in surprise. Sir, Nathaniel was already walking. Get in, he said. No lights, no sirens. The car pulled out into the city like any other black sedan. Invisible, ordinary. Nathaniel typed with one hand as buildings slid past. I'm close. Are you still in your room? Eli's reply came slow this time. Yes. He's yelling again. Nathaniel's jaw tightened. Do you hear anyone else? Neighbors? No. They never come. Those words landed heavier than any scream. Nathaniel stared out the window. Rows of dark apartments passed by. Hundreds of windows. Hundreds of people. All of them asleep or pretending to be. He typed carefully. You're not alone right now. I'm here, in the apartment. Eli sat on the floor with his back against the bed. His knees hurt from being pulled up so tight for so long. The yelling stopped. That scared him more. He typed. It got quiet. Nathaniel didn't hesitate. Is the TV still on? Yes. Good. That means he hasn't left. Eli swallowed. The handle moved again. Slow. Testing. Eli's fingers shook so badly he almost dropped the tablet. He typed without looking. He's at my door. Nathaniel leaned forward in his seat. How strong is the lock? Just a little one. Okay. Listen to me. Don't speak. Don't make any noise. The driver glanced at Nathaniel through the mirror. They were moving faster now. Eli pressed his hand over his mouth. His breathing sounded too loud in his own ears. The handle stopped moving. A voice came through the door. Low, mocking. Open it. Eli froze. His tablet buzzed. Do not answer. The voice outside laughed. I know you're in there. Eli squeezed his eyes shut. His chest felt like it was folding in on itself. He typed one word. Please. Nathaniel saw it and felt something crack. He typed back. Look at me on the screen. Just the words. Stay with me. Eli stared at the glowing letters like they were a rope he could hold on to. The voice outside grew sharper. Open the door or I'll break it. The first kick hit the wood. The frame shuddered. Eli bit down hard on his sleeve. Tears soaked the fabric, but no sound came out. Another kick. The lock held. Barely. Nathaniel's phone buzzed. A new message from another line. Location confirmed. He typed once more to Eli. 30 seconds. Eli didn't know what 30 seconds meant anymore. Time had turned thick and strange. The door shook again. Something splintered near the bottom. Eli typed fast. It's breaking. Nathaniel's reply came instantly. I know. Stay where you are. In the hallway outside the apartment, footsteps echoed. Not stumbling. Not angry. Controlled. A knock at the front door. 3 times. Even. Calm. The shouting stopped. What is this? The man snapped. No answer. Another knock. Same rhythm. Eli pressed his ear to his bedroom door. His whole body trembled. The tablet buzzed. Close your eyes. Eli did. The apartment door opened. Voices overlapped. Low. Firm. Unyielding. Sir, step away. You don't have a warrant. Step away. A scuffle. Not loud. Fast. Eli's mother cried out. Not in pain this time. In shock. The tablet buzzed again. It's over. Eli opened his eyes. His chest hurt when he breathed. He typed, Is my mom alive? Nathaniel didn't look away from the hallway as men moved past him. Yes. Eli slid down against the wall, shaking so hard his teeth clicked together. Another message came through. Open your door now. Eli stood slowly. His legs felt like they didn't belong to him. He unlocked the door. The hallway was empty. The living room was quiet except for soft sobbing. Eli stepped forward and saw his mother sitting on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, her face swollen, eyes wide. She saw him and reached out. Baby. Eli ran. He climbed into her arms and held on like if he let go, the world would split open again. The tablet slipped from his hand and clattered to the floor. Nathaniel watched from the doorway as the boy clung to his mother. He stayed back, always a distance, always a shadow. One of his men spoke quietly beside him. Do you want to be seen, sir? Nathaniel shook his head. No. He turned away before the boy could look up. Back in the car, the city looked different, smaller. Nathaniel typed one final message. You were brave, Eli. The reply came after a moment. Thank you for answering. Nathaniel stared at the words until the screen dimmed. For the first time in years, he didn't feel powerful. He felt necessary. And somewhere deep inside, something long buried had started to wake up. Morning came slowly, not with sunlight, but with the sound of breathing. Eli lay curled on the couch beside his mother, his head tucked under her arm. His fingers knotted into the sleeve of her sweater, like he was afraid she might disappear if he let go. She was awake. She hadn't slept at all. Every few minutes, she shifted just to feel him there. Solid, warm, alive. The apartment looked different in daylight. The broken picture frame by the wall, the cracked corner of the door, the stain on the carpet that hadn't been there before. Eli opened his eyes and didn't move. For one terrifying second, he thought it had all been a dream. Then he heard her heartbeat. Slow, steady. You okay, baby? She whispered. Eli nodded against her chest. Is he gone? Yes, she said. He's gone. He waited for the fear to come back. It didn't. Instead, he felt tired, bone-deep tired. The kind that comes after holding yourself together for too long. What time is it? He asked. Early, she said. School early. Eli frowned. I didn't do my homework. She almost laughed, almost cried. We're not going to school today. Eli relaxed a little more. A knock came at the door. Eli's whole body stiffened. His mother felt it immediately. Her arm tightened around him. It's okay, she said softly. I'll check. She stood carefully, like her bones might break if she moved too fast. Eli watched her walk to the door. Every step felt loud. She opened it. A woman stood there with a clipboard. Kind eyes. Calm voice. My name is Denise. I'm with Family Services. Eli pressed himself deeper into the couch. He knew that name. Family Services meant questions, papers, offices that smelled like old coffee. Denise noticed him right away. She crouched so her eyes were level with his. "Hi, Eli," she said gently. "You did a very brave thing last night." Eli didn't answer. His mother spoke instead. "He saved my life." Denise nodded. "I know." That surprised Eli. "How do you know my name?" he asked quietly. Denise smiled. "Someone made sure we did." She didn't say who. Nathaniel Cross watched the scene from a parked car across the street. He hadn't slept. He hadn't gone home. He sat in the back seat with his phone in his hand, reading and rereading the last message. "Thank you for answering." That was it. No praise. No begging. No drama. Just truth. His assistant called twice. He ignored it. A man worth billions sat watching a cracked apartment building because a 9-year-old boy was inside it. And somehow, that felt more important than anything else he owned. Inside, Denise spoke carefully. "We're going to help you both," she said, "not take Eli away." "Help." Eli studied her face, looking for cracks, for lies. "Really?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "Really." His mother reached for his hand. He let her take it. After Denise left, the apartment felt too quiet. Eli picked up his tablet from the floor. The screen was smudged, the battery almost dead. One new message blinked. "You did exactly what you needed to do." Eli stared at it. He typed back slowly. "I was scared." The reply came a minute later. "Being scared doesn't mean you weren't brave." Eli thought about that. He typed again. "Are you going to leave now?" Nathaniel read the words and felt the weight of them. He typed carefully. "I'm not going anywhere." Eli swallowed. "Okay." That night, Eli slept in his bed for the first time in months. The door stayed closed. The lock stayed untouched. In a glass tower across the city, Nathaniel Cross finally sat down at his desk as the sun dipped low. His phone buzzed with meetings, contracts, numbers that moved the world. He looked at none of it. He looked instead at a single message thread. And for the first time in decades, Nathaniel Cross felt something he hadn't planned for. Responsibility. Not the kind that came with money. The kind that came with answering when someone small asked for help. Outside, the city moved on. Inside, two very different rooms, a boy and a billionaire try to understand the same new truth. Some connections don't end when the danger does. They begin. The days after felt unreal. Like everything was happening underwater. Eli stayed home that week. His mother kept the curtains open now. Light filled the apartment in ways it never had before. Family services came back. Then a doctor. Then a woman who spoke softly and wrote things down without judging. No one yelled. No one rushed. That alone felt strange. Eli sat at the kitchen table coloring while the adults talked in low voices. Every so often, his mother glanced at him like she needed to make sure he was still there. He was. On the third day, a mattress arrived. A real one. Not the thin, sinking thing they'd been using. The men who brought it didn't say much. Just nodded, set it down, and left. Eli watched from the hallway. "Who paid for that?" he asked. His mother hesitated. Someone who wanted to help. Eli knew who. That night. He waited until his mother was asleep before opening the tab again. The battery was charged now. Fully. One new message waited. Did it arrive? Eli typed back. "Yes. Thank you." A pause. "How's your mom?" He thought before answering. "She smiles more now." The reply came a little slower. "That's good." Eli stared at the screen. He typed something, erased it, typed again. "Why did you help us?" The tablet stayed quiet for a long time. Eli worried he'd asked too much. Then the screen lit up. "Because once, a long time ago, no one helped me." Eli's chest felt tight. He typed carefully. "I'm glad you answered me." Nathaniel read that alone in his penthouse kitchen. The city lights blinked outside like nothing had changed. But something had. "I am too." At school the following Monday, everything felt louder. Kids laughed too hard. Lockers slammed. Teachers talked like normal. Eli felt like he was carrying a secret too heavy for his backpack. At lunch, a boy from his class sat beside him. "You didn't die," the boy said casually. Eli looked up. "No," he said. "I didn't." The boy shrugged and walked away. That was it. No apology. No concern. Eli stared at his sandwich and felt something new rise up in him. Not fear. Anger. That afternoon, he didn't go straight home. He sat on the front steps of the building instead, watching cars pass. He pulled out the tablet. School was hard today. The reply came fast. Do you want to talk about it? Eli nodded, even though no one could see. They don't care. Nathaniel leaned back in his chair. Some people don't know how. That doesn't make it okay. Eli read that twice. He typed, Will it always be like this? Nathaniel thought before answering. No, but it won't change all at once. That night, Eli's mother sat beside him on his bed. I'm starting a new job next week, she said. Day shift. Eli's eyes widened. Really? She nodded. Someone helped me get it. Eli smiled. That night, he typed one more message. My mom got a job. Nathaniel smiled at the screen. Tell her I'm proud of her. Eli hesitated, then typed. She says, thank you. There was a pause. Then, tell her she earned it. Eli closed the tablet and lay back. For the first time, the future didn't feel like a dark hallway. It felt like a door that might actually open. And far above the city, a billionaire stared at a skyline he'd built and finally understood something simple. Fixing buildings was easy. Fixing what breaks people took showing up, and he had shown up once, which meant he could do it again. The new routine felt fragile, like it might shatter if anyone moved too fast. Eli walked his mother to the bus stop every morning before school. She wore clean clothes now. Her shoulders sat a little straighter. She kissed his forehead before boarding, every single day. See you later, hero, she whispered once. Eli didn't like that word, but he liked her smile. At school, things didn't magically get better. Some kids still stared. Some teachers still talked past him instead of to him. The system hadn't changed just because his life had. But Eli had. He started raising his hand. Not often, just enough to remind himself he could. One afternoon, the principal called him into the office. Eli's stomach twisted the whole walk down the hall. A man in a dark suit stood by the window when Eli entered. Tall, still, his back turned. The principal smiled too hard. Eli, this is Mr. Harper. He works with educational programs. Eli didn't like how vague that sounded. Mr. Harper turned around. Not the man from the messages. Different face. Same calm. Hi, Eli, he said. I just wanted to meet you. Eli nodded. Okay. They talk about school, about math, about how Eli liked science but hated reading out loud. Nothing scary. Before leaving, Mr. Harper crouched to Eli's level. Someone important asked me to check in on you, he said quietly. Make sure you're getting what you need. Eli swallowed. Who? Mr. Harper smiled, just a little. Someone who answers his phone. That night, Eli typed with shaking fingers. Someone came to my school today. The reply came almost immediately. Did he treat you with respect? Yes. Good. Eli stared at the screen. Are you watching me? Nathaniel paused longer this time. I'm making sure the world does. Eli didn't fully understand that, but it didn't scare him. A week later, his mother came home with grocery bags full enough to rip. Real food, fruit, meat that wasn't canned. She laughed when one bag broke and oranges rolled across the floor. Eli chased them, laughing too. Later that night, she sat beside him. I need to tell you something, she said. Eli stiffened. Bad. No, she said quickly. Good. Scary good. She took a breath. We're going to move. Eli's heart jumped. Where? Somewhere safer. Cleaner. Close to my work. He didn't ask how. He already knew. That night, he typed, We're moving. The reply came slower than usual. That's a big step. Eli nodded at the screen. I'm scared again. Nathaniel read that in silence. So was I, the first time I chose change. Eli typed, Did it work? Nathaniel stared out at the city before answering. It didn't fix everything, but it fixed enough. Eli thought about that as he fell asleep. Fear means stop. It meant move carefully. And somewhere high above, Nathaniel Cross stood in his office long after midnight, realizing something uncomfortable. This wasn't charity. This was connection. And connections, once formed, don't fade quietly. They demand to be honored. The move happened on a Tuesday. No warning. No long goodbyes. Just boxes, tape, and a borrow truck that smelled like dust and oil. Eli stood in the old apartment one last time while his mother locked the door. The walls looked smaller now, less powerful. Nothing inside them could hurt them anymore. The new place wasn't fancy, but it was quiet. 2 bedrooms, clean floors, windows that faced a park instead of a parking lot. Eli stood in his new room and didn't say anything. He didn't want to jinx it. That night, he sat on the floor with his tablet and typed. We moved. The reply came a minute later. How does it feel? Eli thought carefully. Like I can breathe. Nathaniel read that and closed his eyes. Good. The park outside became Eli's favorite place. He sat on the swings after school, sometimes alone, sometimes watching other kids run and laugh. No one pushed. No one shouted. On the 3rd afternoon, a girl sat on the swing next to him. She didn't ask questions. She just swung. After a while, she said, You're new. Eli nodded. Yeah, I'm Maya. Eli. They swung in silence for a bit longer. You okay? She asked. Eli didn't answer right away. I think so, he said finally. That felt true. At home, his mother cooked dinner without flinching at every sound. She sang sometimes, quietly, like she was testing whether the world would allow it. One night, Eli asked her, Do you think people can really change? She looked at him for a long moment. Yes, she said, but not alone. Eli typed that later. My mom says people don't change alone. The reply came slower. She's right. I tried. Eli swallowed. What happened? Nathaniel stared at his phone longer than he meant to. I built walls instead. Money is good for that. Eli imagined tall buildings. Glass. Distance. He typed. But you answered me. Nathaniel's response came steady. Because walls crack when something real hits them. At school, Eli's new teacher noticed him. Not in a bad way. She asked him questions. Waited for answers. Didn't rush him. When he got a math problem right, she smiled like it mattered. It did. That afternoon, Eli typed, My teacher knows my name. Nathaniel smiled without realizing it. That matters. Eli hesitated, then typed something new. Do you know mine? The reply was immediate. I've known it since the first night. Eli's chest warmed. Outside, the city kept moving. Inside 2 very different homes, 2 people sat with the same quiet understanding. The danger had passed, but the work had just begun. Healing didn't arrive all at once. It showed up slowly, in swings that didn't squeak, in dinners without shouting, in messages that said, simply, I'm here, and meant it. The first problem came quietly. It always did. Eli noticed it at school, before anyone else did. The way the lunch lady hesitated when she saw his card. The way his teacher's smile tightened when the office called him out of class. By the time he got home, his stomach hurt. His mother was at the table with a stack of papers spread out in front of her. Her shoulders were tense again. Not like before, but close enough to scare him. What's wrong? Eli asked. She hesitated. It's nothing, baby. Eli knew that word. Nothing meant something too heavy to say. That night, he typed, Something's wrong again. The reply came faster than usual. Tell me. Eli explained the lunch card, the office, the papers. Nathaniel read every word, slowly, carefully. This time, he didn't answer right away. Eli stared at the tablet, fear creeping back in. Had he said too much? Finally, the message appeared. This is the system breaking, not you. Eli frowned. What system? The one that helps only if you already fit. Eli thought about that. He typed, Can it be fixed? Nathaniel exhaled. Not quickly, but it can be pushed. The next day, the lunch card worked. No hesitation. No call to the office. By Friday, the papers were gone from the kitchen table. His mother noticed, too. They fixed something, she said slowly. I don't know how. Eli did. That night, he typed. It stopped. Nathaniel replied. For now. Eli stared at that. Will it come back? Maybe. Eli's fingers hovered. What do we do then? Nathaniel's reply came steady. We answer again. At school, Maya stopped swinging and sat beside him on the grass. My dad lost his job, she said suddenly. Eli didn't know what to say, so he said what he knew. That's hard. She nodded. I'm scared. Eli thought of the tablet. The messages. The feeling of not being alone. You don't have to be scared by yourself, he said. Maya looked at him, surprised. Okay, she said softly. That night, Eli typed, I helped someone today. The reply came warm. How? I listened. Nathaniel smiled. That's how it starts. Late that night, long after Eli slept, Nathaniel Cross sat with a folder open on his desk. Reports, numbers, names, systems he'd helped build, systems that had failed a child. He closed the folder. Not everything needed a press release. Some things needed pressure. And this time, he knew exactly where to apply it, because a 9-year-old boy had shown him what mattered. And Nathaniel Cross was finally listening. The changes didn't announce themselves. They crept in quietly. A new counselor at school, one who didn't rush, one who remembered details. Eli noticed a difference the first time she asked, How are things at home? And actually waited for the answer. At the park, a broken swing got fixed. No sign, no explanation. Just one day it didn't squeak anymore. Eli didn't ask why. He started to understand how some things moved. One afternoon, his mother came home early. That never happened. She stood in the doorway for a long moment, just watching him do homework at the table. I got offered a better position, she said finally. Eli looked up. Like, better? She laughed, surprised by the sound. Yes, better. He smiled so wide it hurt his face. That night, he typed, my mom got promoted. The reply came a little slower, but steady. She earned it. Eli paused. So did you help? Nathaniel read that carefully. I opened a door. She walked through it. Eli nodded at the screen. That seemed fair. At school, Maya stopped sitting alone. 2 other girls joined her at lunch now. They talked about nothing important. Hair, music, a show Eli didn't watch. Maya still sat next to him on the swing sometimes. You're different, she said one day. Eli frowned. Bad different? She shook her head. Calm different. He liked that. That evening, Eli typed, Someone said I'm calm. Nathaniel smiled faintly. Calm comes from feeling safe. Eli hesitated. What if it goes away? Nathaniel didn't answer right away. Eli waited, watched the battery icon. Still full. Finally. Then we rebuild it. Again. Eli felt something settle in his chest. At night, when the apartment went quiet, Eli no longer counted footsteps. He counted tomorrow. School, park, dinner, simple things, real things. Across the city, Nathaniel Cross sat in a boardroom filled with men who talk about efficiency and margins. He watched them argue about numbers that affected thousands of lives. For the first time, he interrupted. This policy hurts families, he said calmly. The room went silent. Someone laughed, uncomfortable. Nathaniel didn't. We fix it, he said, or we replace it. No one argued after that. That night, Eli sent one more message before sleep. I think things are getting better. Nathaniel read it alone in his office. They are, not because the world changed, because you did. Eli fell asleep with the tablet on his chest. And somewhere far above him, a billionaire who had spent a lifetime building towers finally understood something simple. The strongest foundations aren't made of steel. They're made of people who answer. The letter came in a plain envelope. No logo, no return address. Eli found on the kitchen table after school, sitting between the mail and a bowl of apples. His name was written neatly on the front. That alone made his stomach flip. He carried it to his room and sat on the bed before opening it. The paper inside was thick. Official. It was from the school district. Eli read it twice. Then a third time. Advanced placement assessment. Scholarship track. Special recommendation. He didn't understand all the words, but he understood the feeling. This wasn't meant for kids like him. He walked back to the kitchen where his mother was chopping vegetables. Mom. She wiped her hands and read the letter slowly. Her eyes widened, then filled. This is real, she whispered. Eli, this is real. He nodded, suddenly unsure. Is it bad? She laughed through tears and pulled him into a hug. No, she said. It's very, very good. That night, Eli typed, I got a letter from school. The reply came quickly. How do you feel about it? Eli thought for a long moment. Like I don't belong there. Nathaniel read that and leaned back in his chair. Belonging isn't something you're given. It's something you grow into. Eli frowned. What if I mess it up? Nathaniel didn't hesitate. Then you learn. Eli stared at the screen. Nobody had ever said that to him before. The next week was full of meetings. Adults talking around him. Smiling too much. Using words like potential and opportunity. Eli sat quietly and listened. One woman asked him directly, Do you want this? He swallowed. Yes, he said. I think so. That night, he typed, They asked me what I want. Nathaniel smiled faintly. And I said yes. Good. Eli hesitated, then typed something he hadn't said out loud before. I don't want to leave my mom. Nathaniel read that slowly. You won't. No doors that open should close another. Eli breathed out. At the park, Maya noticed the papers in his backpack. You moving away? She asked. No, Eli said. Just moving forward. She smiled like she understood, even if she didn't fully. That's cool, she said. Later that evening, Eli's mother sat beside him on the couch. I'm proud of you, she said quietly. No matter what you choose. Eli leaned into her side. I'm scared, he admitted. She kissed his hair. Me too, she said. But we'll do it together. That night, Eli typed one last message. Thank you for staying. Nathaniel read it long after midnight. Always, he didn't add anything else. Some promises didn't need more words. Outside, the city lights flickered on and off like stars trying to be noticed. Inside a small apartment in a very tall building, two lives moved forward at the same pace. Carefully, honestly, together. The assessment day came on a Friday. Eli wore his cleanest shirt. His mother walked him to the bus stop, even though he didn't need her to. She stayed anyway. Call me when it's over, she said. I will. The building downtown was tall and quiet. Not cold, just serious. Eli sat at a desk with other kids who looked confident. Some whispered answers. Some tapped pencils like they owned the place. Eli breathed. He counted. 1, 2, 3. He remembered the first night. The dark. The door. The message. He opened the test booklet. Hours later, when it was done, he stepped outside and felt lighter. Not because he knew he'd done well, but because he'd shown up. He typed while waiting for the bus. It's over. Nathaniel replied within minutes. How do you feel? Eli watched traffic move. Proud. Nathaniel closed his eyes. You should. The letter came 2 weeks later. Accepted. Full support. Transportation. Meals. Counseling. His mother read it twice, then sat down because her knees wouldn't hold her. Eli didn't jump, didn't shout. He just hugged her. Hard. That night, he typed slowly. I got in. The reply came after a short pause. I never doubted it. Eli swallowed. I couldn't have done it without you. Nathaniel stared at the screen for a long time, then typed. You already were doing it. I just answered once. Eli thought about that. He typed. I answer now, too. Nathaniel smiled. I know. The first day at the new school was quiet. Smaller classes. Teachers who listened. A counselor who asked questions and waited for answers. Eli still missed Maya. Still missed the park. But some goodbyes didn't hurt the same way. They meant growth. Months passed. His mother settled into her job. Bills stopped piling up. Laughter came back into the apartment, like it had always lived there. One night, Eli found the folded paper with a phone number again. The ink was fading. He stared at it, then typed, Do you ever regret answering me? The reply took longer this time. No, it gave my life weight again. Eli's chest warmed. Mine too. A pause. Then, you don't need me anymore. Eli read that carefully. I know. Another pause. That doesn't mean I'm gone. Eli smiled. Okay. Years later, Eli would remember this moment. Not the money, not the buildings. The night someone answered. The night a broken system failed him and a single person didn't. Eli placed the tablet in his drawer and turned off the light. In a tower across the city, Nathaniel Cross did the same. 2 rooms, 2 lives, connected not by power or wealth, but by one choice: to answer